Straightforward conversations get the story behind the headlines right here on the Newsmaker. President Bongbong Marcos survives an impeachment attempt when the complaints against him failed to clear the House Justice Committee for lack of merit. Critics were quick to call it premature, even accusing lawmakers of protecting the president. Yet another move looms in the House as lawmakers brace for complaints against Vice President Sara Duterte the second time around. On the Newsmaker, House Justice Committee chairperson Gerville Luistro. Thank you for joining Newswatch Plus. I'm Tristan Nodalo. Today's Newsmaker, we have House Justice Committee Chairperson and Batangas Representative Gerville Luistro. Congresswoman, thank you po for your time.
Good afternoon and thank you also, Tristan.
Okay. Ma'am, let's start with this. The House Justice Committee has found the two impeachment complaints against President Bongbong Marcos to be insufficient in substance. So for our understanding lang po, Kong Luistro, does this effectively end the impeachment effort against the President?
I would say no, because the committee report is yet to be approved before the Justice Committee, after which we will be forwarding it to the plenary, and the same shall be subjected to the approval of at least 1/3 of all the members of the House. In the event that we fail to get the 1/3 vote, or that 1/3 vote disapprove the committee report of the Justice Committee, that will be equivalent to the reversal of our dismissal, in which case ibabalik siya sa Justice Committee and we will be constrained to prepare the articles of impeachment, and we will be transmitting the same again to the plenary, and if approved by at least 1/3, that would warrant transmittal to the Senate.
Okay, but what are the chances, Congresswoman, that the House plenary could overturn the committee's decision? And if that happens, na nakwento nyo na po yung mga mangyayari, di ba, kapag hindi nakuha yung boto?
Well, I cannot preempt, no? Meron pa tayong today, tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We don't know when the same will be included in the order of business of the plenary. Anything can still happen, no? In spite of the huge number of vote before the Justice Committee supporting the declaration of insufficiency, I really cannot tell what's gonna happen in the plenary.
So yan po ang susunod nating aabangan, Congresswoman Luistro. But I want to go back a bit to the committee hearing yesterday and the other day. And based on the discussions po as chair, what was the prevailing sentiment among lawmakers when the issue of sufficiency in substance was being debated?
Kasi when we talk, Tristan, about sufficiency in substance, the rule is very clear. Ang sabi, the impeachment complaint is considered sufficient in substance if there is a recital of facts that constitute an offense determinative of the jurisdiction of the Committee on Justice, no? Simply stated, Tristan, dapat yung allegation of facts should be connected to the ground under which the complaint is being anchored on. The ground under which the complaint is being anchored on. Ibig sabihin yung offense at saka yung ground, dapat makonect mo yan. Ang tawag ni Congresswoman De Lima, nexus, no? And we have to consider also the requirement of verification. Ang sabi sa verification, it should be based, the allegation of fact should be based on personal knowledge and or authentic record. So, basically, ito yung mga dapat na una nating makikita for us to be able to determine whether the impeachment complaint is sufficient in substance.
So based po sa inyong perspective as committee chair, what exactly did the impeachment complaints fail to establish? Was it lack of evidence, weak legal grounds, or lack of personal knowledge on the matter being presented?
This is just a this is just sharing the arguments of the justice members, no? Because of course we understand that the chair did not participate in the voting. As a matter of fact, we're allowed to vote only in case of tie. And it is really my intention to maintain my cold neutrality in order not to influence the judgment of the individual members, no? But during the deliberation, I was able to hear from the members. One is lack of personal knowledge of the complainant. Two, the attachments are not authentic records or they were not certified. And three, the impeachable official has no personal participation in the offense charge. Idagdag natin yung pinag-usapan natin kanina, the failure to establish the connection between the offense and the ground under which the same is anchored, no? So, apat yung inikutan na argument as we continue to deliberate. In fact, not only on Masa et al., ganun din pagdating kay De Jesus complaint, no? Let me reiterate. One is nawawala yung personal knowledge ng complainant. This is according to the justice members. Two, ang attachment ay hindi authentic records. Three, walang personal participation ang impeachable official who is the president in the offense charged. And fourth, walang connection yung offense doon sa ground under which the same is anchored. Meron pa palang five, the failure to state the ultimate facts, no? Kasi pag sinabi nating ultimate facts, this is essential facts which must be able to answer the questions such as what, when, where, how, and the circumstances surrounding the same, no? So, they view the impeachment complaint of both De Jesus and Masa et al. As merely conclusion of facts instead of ultimate facts. So 5 grounds ang kinonsider ng justice members in declaring the insufficiency of substance of both the De Jesus complaint and the Masa et al. Impeachment complaint.
So, based on the outcome of the deliberation, masasabi po ba natin, Kong Jinky, na mahirap po kung ang impeachment ground or complaint ay nakaangkla, let's say, sa mga news report na napanood or mga public pronouncement, or kung wala po talagang direct participation yung complainant doon sa kanyang nirereklamo against the respondent, in this case, president po. Kasi halimbawa po yung De Jesus complaint, di ba? Ang issue po is kidnapping, alleged illegal drug use, and at the same time yung sa unprogrammed appropriation. So ito po medyo mahirap patunayan yung allegation kung hindi po siya directly involved.
That is correct, no? Kasi there is one jurisprudence which says that in cases of impeachable offenses, there has to be the personal, overt, and culpable participation of the impeachable official. I will illustrate, no? One of the offenses charged in the Masa et al. Complaint is the BBM parametric formula in determining the allocation per region, per district, I guess, no? So, ang naging contention dyan ng justice members whose program is the BBM parametric formula. Who implemented this program? In both questions, the answer is DPWH. And then they went to the extent of asking, do you have any evidence which will show that the president actually gave instruction to prepare that program and to implement that program? Because in the absence of that instruction, then the conclusion of the member was the president has no personal participation.
Okay. So, ito po yung parang rebuttal naman ng mga complainant and even yung mga supporter po nila na nasa allegation stage pa lang po kasi, and yung presentation of whether there is evidence or totoo ba yung ina-allege ay nasa next part pa ng proceedings. So how do we explain it po sa ating mga kababayan na itong stage, yung sa determination of substance, ay importante na rin pong may laman kahit papaano yung ina-allege?
Well, I beg to disagree to that opinion, no? Kasi One of the specific requirement is verification that the allegation of facts is based on personal knowledge or authentic records. Ibig sabihin, yung impeachment complaint, when you attach the annexes, they became part of the impeachment complaint, no? So, kung anong requirement pagdating sa impeachment complaint, as far as I understand, the same will apply pagdating dun sa attachment. So, absent personal knowledge, absent authentic records, that impeachment complaint will fail in satisfying the standard of sufficiency in substance.
Okay. You have former lawmaker Liza Maza, one of the complainants. Sabi niyo po after the decision was made, pinatay na ang katarungan. How do you respond to the claim? Especially po na yung nafe-feel po nila yung process failed to deliver accountability kasi napatay po kaagad yung complaint.
Ever since I understand that we cannot please everyone, no? And of course, the former lawmaker Liza Maza is entitled to her opinion. I respect that. But in as far as I am concerned as the justice chairperson, I am positive and I maintain that the justice members strictly followed the rules on impeachment as provided in our rules and as provided in the Constitution.
Kung another claim pa po, sinasabi rin po ng iba na President Marcos survived this impeachment attempts because of his political influence in the House of Representatives. As Justice Chair, ilang beses nyo pong iginiit yung process of fairness, di ba? Kapag may magsasalitang isa, dapat lahat magsasalita. Pag may time yung isa, dapat may time. So, given this mga comment pa rin po na may impluensya pa daw ang Pangulo, how do you address that?
It has been everybody's observation, even in the past impeachment processes, that impeachment is not only a constitutional, a factual, or a legal process. It is likewise a political process, given the fact that the people vested with the power to initiate complaints are the members of the House of Representatives who are political personalities. And the people who were vested with the power to try the impeachment case are the senators who are likewise political personalities. In that sense, of course, I join the general observation that it is somehow a political process as well. Nevertheless, I am positive that in spite of that observation, the justice members acted independently, impartially, and in strict adherence to the rules on impeachment and to that of the Constitution.
Kong Jinky, allow me to shift to another major issue. No? After po itong impeachment against President Marcos, what is the status of the impeachment complaints filed against Vice President Sara Duterte?
As a matter of fact, I don't have any official information except that 2 complaints were filed already in the office of the Secretary General, no? And in as far as the Justice Committee is concerned, we cannot take any action until they are referred to the Justice Committee. But certainly, Tristan, no? Whatever parameters, procedures, deliberations we observe in the impeachment process against the President, we will be adopting as well when we receive the impeachment complaint against the Vice President.
So, meaning, halimbawa po, yung issue po ng authentic documents, di ba, na na-raise po noong Marcos impeachment, this will also be applied to the Duterte
Definitely.
impeachment?
Definitely. As a matter of fact, that is very much explicit in the rules. And no way that we will not be applying that in our deliberation on the impeachment complaint of the Vice President.
Kong Luistro, has the issue of the 1-year bar on impeachment already been clearly resolved by the committee? Or is there still a need for guidance or clarification from the Supreme Court? Because nagkaroon po ng confusion yung public then on the dates when can a new impeachment case or complaint be filed against the Vice President?
As much as we wanted to be clarified by the Supreme Court, no, it was very clear in the recent resolution that the same is final and executory. No motions, no appeal, no petitions will be entertained anymore. No? But nonetheless, dito sa amin sa House of Representatives, there is a committee which has jurisdiction in the updating of rules should the same be necessary. So we will be waiting for the position of this is the Committee on Rules, no? We will be waiting for their position whether we will be adopting all or we will be adopting just some because there's a room for reconciliation, perhaps, things like that, no? Whatever will be the position of the Committee on Rules, the same will be subject to the approval of the plenary still. And on that, in that case, that will be that will be the direction which the Justice Committee will be following, no? Bagaman, at this point in time, Tristan, no, what do you call this? Merong mga parts ng resolution which will affect already our current impeachment process, no?
Mhm.
That is their new definition of session days. Kasi under the old practice, one session day does not necessarily mean one calendar day. Sometimes, one session day takes 3 or even more calendar days because on the succeeding days, continuation na lang ng proceedings, no? Pero ang sabi ng Supreme Court in the recent resolution, by session day is calendar day whenever the Congress or the House of Representatives have a session, no?
Mhm.
So in that case, we will be observing that for purposes of impeachment.
So hindi na po pwede yung parang stop the clock lang, tapos itutuloy lang yung another day, another session day. Kasi iba na yung definition niya.
Ang pangit naman ng analogy mo na stop the clock, no? If I may share it to the our beloved countrymen, ito po yung second term ko pa lang. But since time immemorial, ganyan na po ang appreciation nila ng session day dito sa House, no? Session day dito sa House. We're having a preliminary discussion on what to do about it kasi nga it is a long-standing practice
Yes.
na pag sinabing session day dito sa House, it does not necessarily mean one calendar day. Because if it is merely suspension and continuation of proceeding on the succeeding day, then that would be equivalent to one session day only, no? Pero I am of the opinion that since the case is about impeachment process, for impeachment purposes, we really need to follow the new definition of session day.
Okay. And of course, may mga nagsasabi pong the Duterte impeachment would be lengthy as compared to the Marcos impeachment. Medyo mahirap pa po masabi ngayon yan dahil wala pa po sa committee nyo, Kong Luistro, no?
Depends kung ilan ba yung impeachment complaint, ilan ba yung grounds. You witnessed that in the deliberation of the impeachment complaints against the president. There were 2, and we tackled all the offenses incorporated in the impeachment complaint for purposes of the determination of sufficiency in substance. As what I have said earlier, whatever parameters, procedures we adopted in the process against the president, we will be adopting also in case or when this impeachment complaints against the Vice President is referred to the Justice Committee.
At which point of the impeachment proceedings can the House invite sila, for example po, for President Marcos and si Vice President Sara Duterte, saan po sila part ng proceedings pwedeng maimbitahan? Kapag lumusot na po ba sa substance?
It's on the 4th step, no? So let's have a recap. First step is the determination of sufficiency in form. Second is determination of sufficiency in substance. If the impeachment complaint will pass these 2 tests, we proceed to step 3. We will be issuing a notice to the respondent for him to file an answer. And then should the complainant desire, she can still file a reply. And should the respondent desire as well, he can still file a rejoinder, no? Yung answer, that is 10 calendar days, no? Etong reply at saka rejoinder, 3 calendar days from receipt of the responsive pleading. We can also start accepting, no? I stand corrected when I use the term reception of evidence. That is wrong. Dito sa step 3, pwede na silang mag-submit ng evidence, but that is not reception of evidence. Kasi pag sinabi natin reception, presentation na yan ng evidence, no? Submission of evidence only, no? And if there are affidavits and counter affidavits, they need to be subscribed before the Justice Committee, no? Kapag kumpleto na lahat yan, responsive pleadings as well as the evidence, we will be determining whether or not there is a sufficient basis of the impeachment complaint. No? If the answer is yes, we proceed to step 4. Step 4 is the hearing proper. Ito yung tinatanong mo, Tristan. Doon sa step 4, we will be inviting the complainant, the witnesses, and even the respondent. And let me continue. If the respondent refuse to come, let us understand that his participation or presence is part of due process. So kung hindi siya dadating, it will be interpreted merely as waiver of his right to appear or participate in the proceedings, no?
Okay.
It is actually his prerogative whether to come or not. And that applies also to the Vice President.
Okay.
The fifth and the last, natapos na yung ating hearing proper. Our fifth step is the determination of whether or not probable cause exists. Kung may probable cause, then whatever is our decision, it has to be written in a committee report. We submit that to the plenary, and that committee report is subject to the approval of at least 1/3 of the members of the House of Representatives. No, so if our committee report contains the existence of probable cause, and the same will be approved by at least 1/3 of the members of the House of Representatives, then that will warrant the transmittal of the articles of impeachment to the Senate.
Very well explained, Kong Luistro. At least naunawaan na po kung saan pa talaga papasok at kung gaano pa kalayo yung proseso na ginagawa po dito sa impeachment proceedings. As a final question, Kong Luistro, as the chair of the House Justice Committee, medyo mabigat po yung mabigat ang responsibilidad niyo po ngayon with this back-to-back impeachment ng dalawa ng mataas na opisyal ng Pilipinas. Siguro po, how do you want to give, what kind of assurance would you like to give to the Filipino people that the impeachment proceedings, regardless of who is involved, will be handled fairly?
Yeah. Well, I have appreciated this ever since as both an honor and a duty, no? And you are correct about this. This is unprecedented because first time in the history of our country that both the president and the vice president are being impeached, no? Nonetheless, this is not a matter of choice. This is not a matter of preference. For us in the Justice Committee, this is a constitutional duty, okay? And rest assured to our beloved countrymen that we will be acting independently and impartially because at the end of the day, we owe our faith and allegiance neither to the President nor to the Vice President, but to the sovereign Filipino people.
Thank you, House Justice Committee Chairperson Gerville Luistro. Ma'am, thank you for your time and for this interview po.
Thank you, Tristan, and good afternoon ulit sa lahat ng viewers and listeners.
Thank you po. And we will continue to deliver just the facts and the news you need. Until our next Newsmaker, I'm Tristan Udalo.